pick-me-up.
Hold up. The new 93.7 The Ticket location has a milk, coffee, and tea inside? Oh, yeah. This is a game changer.
Need an afternoon pick-me-up? How about a coffee or smoothie on your way to work? Stop by the Ticket Mill location on 1040 O Street to get your go-to drink or try out our new game day drinks exclusive to the Ticket Mill location. We know it'll make your day a million times better.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith. Innovation has a name. Call Wellman Plumbing at 402-434-2400 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-434-2400.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Mulberry Barbecue by Single Barrel is the answer to all your lunch and dinner cravings. They have everything from smoked turkey sandwiches to brisket burritos to burnt-in sandwiches and pulled pork. Try a dinner plate option of barbecue nachos, a half-smoked chicken, a full slab of ribs, and so much more. Don't forget their great sides like mac and cheese, cheesy potatoes, barbecue beans, or red slaw. Mulberry Barbecue by Single Barrel, open Monday to Saturday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. at 11th and Cornhusker Highway.
Hi, I'm State Senator Bo Ballard. I was born and raised right here in Lancaster County. I understand the value of hard work by being involved in our family business. I built my own company, creating jobs right here in our community. Nebraska families and business owners need lower taxes, more affordable health care, and a great education system. That is why I fought for the largest tax cut in Nebraska history, reduce the cost of health care, and help pass the biggest investment in our public schools. I'm Senator Bo Ballard, and I humbly ask for your vote on November 5th. Paid for by Ballard for Nebraska.
This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everett. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
Welcome, everybody, in to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. Check out all things The Ticket at theticketfm.com. Also, YouTube, podcast platforms, Amazon Prime, television, radio, and all the social media accounts that you can find. All right. Also, Carriker Chronicles, CarrikerChronicles.com. Also, the tube of you, YouTube. Type in Carriker Chronicles. This is the Adam Carriker Show, the show where we give you unique insights, unbridled honesty, and producer Jake and I have a whole lot of fun in the process. Join us Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 4 days a week. And if you're so inclined, on Wednesdays with Steve Taylor, noon to 1 p.m. Central Time. Grab your lunch. Come join us, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully, you'll learn something in the process. Chances are like 49% to 51. But today, we're going to talk about Nebraska's last 4 games and how I think it's going to be a wild ride. But we're going to kick the show off. And I should mention we're going to be joined at 12:25 by former Black Shirt Nick Henrich. All right. And then the AC poll is going to close out the show today. Oh, and I cannot forget, we're actually going to do this throughout the show. All right. Your comments, your calls, your comments, your thoughts, concerns, questions, otherwise, send them in. If Jake likes it, He's going to let me know, and we'll answer that question pronto. What's that number, Jake?
402-464-5685. The Sartor Heyman Jewelers text line.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do that throughout the show today. So Jake can hit me up at any point during the next hour. All right, but let's start out. The Big Ten admits they're wrong. I know. This is not new news. It's less than 24 hours old, though, so it's still not old just yet. Matt Rule should not have been flagged either time this year. And apparently not Ryan Day either. Ryan Day literally walks out onto the field, throws the biggest hissy fit I've seen since like 2 days ago when my 7-year-old threw one. Actually, she doesn't really throw him. It tends to be another kid, but I'll keep that kid's name out of my mouth. Throws a gigantic hissy fit like he's a 5-year-old. Throws his headset. Doesn't get flagged. And if you watch film, go back and watch the Purdue game of when Rule gets flagged. Yeah, throws the headset. Doesn't walk out on the field. Doesn't throw a hissy fit. Really just threw the headset. Again, in his words, fighting for Nebraska. Hey, I love that. I got no problem with that. And I believe him. Ryan Day walks out onto the field, which Rule did not do. Throws his headset, which Rule did do. And then throws a gigantic hissy fit, which Rule did not do. Now, your definition of a hissy fit can vary here or there, but Rule made much more demonstrative actions. And if you read a few more lips, said a few more colorful words as well. So the Big Ten admits that Matt Rule shouldn't have gotten flagged either time. Then Ohio State throws stuff on the field. I wonder where they got that idea from. Wonderful precedent you set. Referees of the Texas-Georgia game, so thank you for that. Luckily, Ohio State didn't take it to the extent that Texas and Georgia did, but they don't get fined or penalized. When it comes to the Texas-Georgia bottles on the field and Texas getting fined $250,000, which if you're making the amount of money that Texas is, it was really just a drop in the bucket. It sounds bigger than it actually is to Texas. To somebody else, Ball State, Toledo, a lot more money. To Texas, I didn't like that. I believe in that game they got the call right because at first they called PI. Texas intercepted the ball. They called pass interference. It wasn't pass interference. The student section throws a crap load of bottles all over the place. So now there's dead time. Sarkisian has to walk on the field, put his hands up, tell him to stop. During this dead time, because this was not reviewed, it's played over and over on the big gigantic video board there. The refs watch it, change their mind. Now, did they change it to the right call? Yes. Did they set a horrible precedent? Yes. They set a precedent. If you throw a bunch of stuff on the field, you throw a big enough fit, we don't have the backbone. We're not prepared enough to stand on our own 2 feet. We're not even going to take the time to actually review it. We're just going to respond to your hissy fit and change the call. It's the precedent that was set that was not good. So go to the Ohio State game. And again, these fans did not take it to the same extent that the Longhorn fans did. But they throw stuff on the field. Again, wonder where they got the idea. Bad precedent's been set. They didn't go as far as Texas did. But here's what I don't like. I don't like that Ohio State's not going to be fined because you're sending another message that says this is okay. This is okay to do. Well, what's next? I mean, this is beyond a slippery slope. We're in the middle of a river going downstream, headed towards the waterfall because this could get crazy. Now, I'm the type of guy that I grew up watching the Malice in the Palace. All right, I watched, was it the Indiana Pacers and Ron Artest go up in the stands and beat the crap out of, I'm going to be honest, you watch what those fans were doing? I mean, they deserve to get the crap kicked out of them, but that doesn't mean you should actually go do it. I'm old enough to remember that like it was yesterday, probably about 20 years ago, give or take at this point. To me, it's a very dangerous precedent. It's a bad precedent. And to not even hand any repercussions down to Ohio State at all, in my opinion, just accentuates the point. And I sure hope I'm wrong, but I wonder what the next step is the next time a bunch of fans get mad. Because here's the other thing. Officiating is not good in college football. It is bad. It is not Nebraska. It is not even the Big Ten. It is college football as a whole. Referees are human beings. Nobody expects perfection. I do think we installed instant replay all those years ago when we were afraid of messing up the flow of the game. And we didn't want to slow down the game so we could get calls right. I don't even know if we're batting 500 on getting calls right from instant replay. And then there's times they're not replaying plays that should be reviewed, not reviewing plays that should be reviewed, a la the Nebraska game where we had a first down by 2 yards. That ref literally had to think about it. The ref gets the ball, literally has to walk backwards because the ball's set down on the ground. Running backs don't stand up and toss the ball backwards. They might try to inch it forwards. He literally had to pick up the ball and walk backwards to respot the ball where he apparently thought it should be spotted. No, we don't review that. We don't look at that. The Big Ten admits that wrong. That's wrong. I think one of the most asinine things for me, not ASA 7, not ASA 8, it's ASA 9, okay, is that referees are one of the few jobs that is done publicly that is not held accountable publicly. Okay, think about politicians. They got to answer publicly. They got to do interviews, things of that nature. And I know that's a whole rabbit hole. I get that. Coaches, they got to go to press conferences afterwards. Players, they got to go to press conferences afterwards. Dylan Raiola is a 19-year-old teenager, and he's sitting in front, accounting for the good, the bad. If he's thrown an interception, if he's thrown 3, he's got to answer for it. But these grown men who are human beings that nobody expects perfection from, but I expect a lot higher batting average with instant replay installed. They're not even full-time employees, by the way. They can just leave afterwards. They just leave. I've always been kind of opposed to referees and officials having to do a press conference afterwards. Never really heard it brought up a ton before, but there's a reason it's been brought up now, because you could see how that could get carried away. How some angry fans could take it too far, how maybe some drunk angry fans could take it too far. But coaches and players have to do it. And the officiating is so egregious at this point. Bad does not describe it. Awful was me putting it kindly the other day when I put that out on social media. Egregious, horrifically horrible, just beyond bad. Jay Foreman sat here. I saw the clip. He said he might have to contemplate not even taking his team out there if he was the coach, because he's got to think of the well-being and safety of his own team if he were the coach. There needs to be a level of accountability like there's never been before, because the stakes are higher than they've ever been, honestly, with the way this sport is growing and the money that's on the line and the short leashes that these men have to do their jobs, a.k.a. college football coaches, with the amount of time that it takes now. You've got to recruit your own team. You got to recruit high school kids. You got to recruit the transfer portal. You got to be a GM. You got to be a coach. You got a game plan. You got to watch film. Being a college football coach is exponentially harder than being an NFL coach. I don't even think it's close anymore. I've always thought it was harder before anyways, because recruiting trumps drafting as far as difficulty. You sit in a dark room for hours on end. You evaluate draft picks. You draft who you want. Recruiting, you got to sit in a dark room. Of course, there's all these recruiting services. How much do you trust them? Matt Rule likes to find his own players, his own diamonds in the rough, so to speak. I love that, by the way. So he's got to watch hours of film on end, and then you've got to recruit. Not just high school players, your team, transfer portal guys. You got to basically evaluate everyone in college football, or at least the guys who enter the transfer portal, I guess. But as soon as someone enters the transfer portal, you need to have an idea of who they are, what they can do. Can they help you? Can they not? You can't be waiting a week to try to figure it all out. By then, they probably got 14 offers. Maybe they've already committed. All I'm saying is I would have never been on board with something like this before, but a job that is done so publicly, that has such an impact on so many people and so many things as officiating, which is not easy to do. I want that to be known. There needs to be, because it's gotten so bad. Just it's not even, it's inarguable. It's not even debatable. You got Ohio State fans that are flipping out about the game. Nebraska fans flipping out about the game. Big Ten officials are like, yep, got this wrong, this wrong, this wrong, and this wrong. That's 4 things they got wrong that were gigantic. I didn't feel like listing them all out again. Like, there now needs to be a level of accountability for officials. It could be a slippery slope, because does somebody take it too far afterwards? I hope not. I hope you just treat them like players and coaches, and once the press conference is over, it's evaluated, talked about, and it doesn't go too far. To be clear, when I'm talking about something like that. All right, you got any other thoughts there, Jake, on the officials before we move on to the last 4 games of the Nebraska season, which is going to be truly, I'm predicting, one heck of a wild ride. And if you think about it, the last 2 weeks have already been an insane roller coaster of a wild ride.
Yeah, I just always kind of think too with the referees is, obviously they're not going to be they're the least favorite people in the city sometimes. I mean, so
Yeah.
I think how quickly they have to probably go back and change so you don't look like a referee to get out of town. I always wondered that sometimes because you can feel it, sometimes at Morris Stadium, but specifically at a basketball game where there's 13,000 people there that basically want to get their hands on you. So no, I agree with you. I think, you could have some accountability, but specifically, all these, like Matt Rule was saying, all these notes he's getting on Sunday about, oh yeah, we made this mistake. Yeah, I guess that probably hurt you guys. It's like, that doesn't do any good. You don't like, thanks for admitting your error.
It's too late. And there's too many of them.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
more, go ahead.
No, you're right.
It's too late and there's too many. My issue isn't it's too late. There's nothing you can do about that. There's just too many. Just too many is all I'm saying. And I can't help but wonder, because I know referees get evaluated, just like players and coaches. Go to Pro Football Focus. Good Lord, you can learn anything about everyone, about everything they've done the entire year, including how many bottles of water they drank and how well they did it. Okay? What if it was more publicly known? How, because I know that refs sometimes they're, I don't want to say punished, but like maybe fined or suspended. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. When somebody does something wrong and you don't know what the repercussions are, it can just make people madder. Maybe if there's a level of accountability, like, hey, this is what I saw, this is why we called it at a press conference, maybe there's more of an understanding. Like Matt Rule has a really good ability at press conferences to put things in scope. People are mad about certain things. He gets in front of that mic, and he's exceptionally well in front of the microphone, does exceptionally well in front of the microphone, but he can all of a sudden put certain things to bed that otherwise would have just spread like wildfire. Not everybody has that capability, but everybody should get that opportunity. Does that make sense, Jake? Like, I think that could help with how mad people are afterwards if there's an understanding. Hey, this is what I saw. Hey, we flat out got it wrong. We'll admit it now. Not 48 hours later. Hey, this is the repercussions that I've got, or whatever the case may be. Like, we know Matt Rule was flagged twice. Okay, that hurt the team. 15-yard penalties, etc. We know the repercussions in the moment. We have no idea what the refs. I'm not saying these refs are terrible people. They're human beings. They're trying to do a job. They're doing a job that isn't all that fun to do, and it's very difficult. I'm not saying any of that is unfair to say because it's all 100% true. What I'm saying is there needs to be a level of accountability and a public understanding like there's never been, and I would not have been in favor of before because the stakes are higher than they've ever been, and the officiating is worse than it's ever been. All right. That wasn't supposed to take that long. All right. Nebraska's last 4 games, going to be a wild ride. We're going to dive more into UCLA on Thursday. So as far as UCLA specifically, I'm going to keep this more topical. They're 2-5 on the year. I actually interviewed a UCLA insider yesterday, USA Today sports reporter. I asked him what his thoughts were when Chip Kelly left. I figured he'd be mad and offended. Left to be the head coach at UCLA, left being the head coach at UCLA to be an OC at another Big Ten school. He all but started dancing and celebrating. They were happy when Chip Kelly left. I think Chip Kelly didn't want to be there. I think the recruiting wasn't on par. And now they've got a UCLA legend there. They're having a bit of a rough season so far. I will say this, don't underestimate UCLA. They've had a brutal schedule. They've played several top 10 teams. They've only played one team that isn't 500 or has a winning record out of their 7 games. They actually beat Rutgers up in Piscataway. Pardon me, in their last game. So we'll dive more into them. Their linebacking core is the strength of their team. Their run game is the best part of their offense. And their defense is ahead of their offense at the moment. 2-5. A game that is very, very important to Nebraska football, in my humble opinion. All right, you go to the bye week. USC. This is a team that's 4-4, the 11-time national champions with more Heisman Trophy winners than any other school. The USC Trojans. This is a team that beat LSU right out the gate. Was surprised up in Ann Arbor by Michigan. Just got out physical. Wisconsin, who isn't half bad, by the way. They smoke them at home 38-21, ran away with it in the second half after actually trailing for a while in the first half. Then go on the road to Minnesota, lose late in the game They got out Big Ten, honestly. Minnesota just out physical them. 4th and 1, minute to go. PJ Fleck rows the boat. They go for it. They score the game-winning touchdown. They beat USC. Minnesota does. Pardon me again. Penn State. That was their last game. I'm sorry, that was not their last game. They have played Maryland and Rutgers since. That was a great game. That game came down to the wire. Penn State's tight end is a man amongst preschoolers. It is insane how good he is. 17 catches on that day. Nobody else on the team had more than 3 for Penn State. But USC, they actually outrushed Penn State, outgained Penn State, had them at home, still didn't win the game. This USC team, the strength is in their skill positions. Their offensive line is very young. All freshmen, redshirt freshmen, and sophomores except for their center. And then they somehow found a way to lose at Maryland. They've been going back and forth across the country like crazy. And then they beat Rutgers. All right. We go on to USC's 4-4. I still think that's going to be when that game rolls around after the bye week and they're after a bye and they're fighting. They haven't given up on their season. Nebraska should be fighting. I think that's actually going to be an entertaining game. That game has stuck out to me ever since last summer. I haven't talked about it a ton because, we had all these other games before it. But that game to me, I think, is going to be very up and down, very entertaining, very unpredictable. Wisconsin. Talk about a team that's in an interesting season. All right, they beat Western Michigan, beat South Dakota. Don't exactly smoke them, but beat them both by 2 scores. Then they get boat raced at home by Alabama, lose their quarterback. They lost 42-10 on a national stage, lose their quarterback for the season. Then they go out to USC, as I mentioned a minute ago, actually led for a good portion of the first half. Then USC pulls away, wins by 17, 38-21 in the second half. They go to Purdue, and everyone's like, oh, they're starting quarterbacks out. They're starting running backs out. They're hurting. No, go boat race Purdue 52-6. Go boat race Rutgers 42-7. Beat Northwestern 23-3. And in the second half, Penn State puts in their backup quarterback. Otherwise, it was down to the wire in the first half as far as neck and neck who was going to pull this game out. Penn State ends up winning 28-13. Wisconsin is a team who's a little bit unpredictable, kind of like USC. But they're a team that's a lot better than I thought they were going to be once their starting quarterback and running back went down. And then Iowa, our good buddies, our good friends. They've actually scored 40 points 2 of their last 3 games. I actually thought that was illegal for them to do that. I didn't know they were allowed to do that. All right. In 3 of their past 5 games, they've scored 30 or 40 points or more. 4 of their past 6, 30 or 40 points or more. They're actually putting up points this year. All right, they lost to Iowa State, lost to Ohio State, lost to Michigan State. That's really the only surprise. They play Wisconsin this weekend, but they've beaten teams they're supposed to. In Northwestern, they throttled Washington. I didn't see a throttling coming. Beat Minnesota, beat Troy, and beat Illinois State. As always, that's going to be a 1-score game that comes down to the wire. It's going to be a wild ride, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we're going to take a break. As always, let me know your thoughts, comments, questions, concerns. Otherwise, hit that text line. Nick Henrich is going to join us right after this.
Gary Michaels Clothier's 41st anniversary sale is happening now. Our entire new fall inventory of suits, sport coats, sweaters, slacks, outerwear, footwear, all now marked up to 41% off. Don't miss your opportunity to save big on brands like Marcello, Bugatti, Jack Victor, Heritage Gold, Alberto, and Zanella. It's the Gary Michaels 41st anniversary sale going on now through November 2nd. Gary Michaels Clothier's 56th and Pine Lake, right here in Lincoln.
Hey everyone, Lance here with Black Label. We specialize in creating custom crafted decks, pergolas, patio covers, and more. Plus, our retractable screens, gazebos, and patio enclosures create the ultimate outdoor retreat. With over 50 years of combined experience, we're not just builders, we're creators of unforgettable memories.
Call them today at 402-730-6333 or visit blacklabelbuilt.com for a free consultation.
Let's turn your backyard dreams into reality.
Black Label Built, built to serve, built to last.
If you're a homeowner or a business owner, you have a lot of projects, and no one has an unlimited budget or time. Sunbelt Rentals makes all jobs less stressful with no need to purchase large equipment or hire a crew. You can do it yourself with rentals and everything from aerators and power rakes for spring yard work to stump grinders, concrete mixers, tile saws, and more. Check out their inventory in Lincoln, north of Cornhusker Highway on 56th Street, or online at sunbeltrentals.com. Constructors is now hiring for all positions, with laborers starting at $23 and up based on experience. Constructors has immediate job openings for laborers, mechanics, bridge builders, operators, and drivers. Start your new career today. Constructors offers great pay, health, dental, and vision insurance, paid time off, paid holidays, and so much more. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. For a complete list of openings and to apply online, visit constructorslincoln.com.
All right, Rico, let's do the final checklist before we head out. We have a lot of people coming to the tailgate today. I'm ready. Burgers? Check. Chips? Check. Icy cold beer? Check. Except this one. I'm forgetting something. Wait a second. Where's the Führer's cheese spread? I can't stop eating it. Rico, relax. I always pack extra. It's the biggest hit of the tailgate.
For the best appetizer, party dip, and tailgate snack, load up on Führer's cheese spread today in most local grocery stores.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and we want to thank all of our customers for a great September. And now it's time for our annual Halloween sales event happening right now at Koppel. Get 0% financing at Koppel. You heard right, 0% financing on select new models. Also, huge discounts up to $11,500 are available. It's our annual Halloween sales event. Get $11,500 off or 0% financing at Koppel. So please stop on by or check us out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did 0% with roof credit.
With the Planet Fitness Black Card, you don't just get a great workout, you get a great perk out because your membership is packed with perks. For $1 down and $24.99 a month, you'll get perks like access to any of our 2,400 clean and spacious locations. Bring your friend anytime and both work out with tons of equipment that'll give you that big fitness energy. Relax in the Black Card spa and more. Work out and perk out with the PF Black Card. Join for just $1 down and $24.99 a month.
Hurry, this deal ends soon.
See Home Club for details.
General Fire and Safety has been keeping Lincoln businesses and commercial structures safe for more than 50 years. From a simple fire extinguisher to full fire suppression systems, Lincoln has trusted General Fire and Safety to provide top-of-the-line products, installation, and maintenance. If you're starting a new business in a brand new building, call on General Fire and Safety to help you plan a fire safety system that fits the specific needs of your business, employees, and customers. Call General Fire and Safety today at 402-261-0116.
It's the fall sports season, and that means that the school year is back in session and you're planning road trips for Nebraska football games and following your kids around to their different events. Stop telling yourself you'll upgrade your car someday and do it now. Mullen Motors Lot is full of great vehicles to take home so you don't have to worry about your current car struggling through another season. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Lake and find your next ride. As your fall schedule gets busy, you'll need a reliable way to get to your destinations. Mullen Motors.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Attention students and anyone else looking for a great deal. Sun Valley Lanes and Games has the ultimate weeknight special. For just $15.95, enjoy unlimited bowling, lucky putt mini golf, and laser tag. Flash your college ID at check-in to receive $2 off your admission. It's the perfect way to unwind Sunday through Thursday nights. Check out sunvalleylanes.com for hours and availability. Sun Valley Lanes and Games, located at 321 Victory Lane.
Lincoln's best place to meet, eat, and compete. Sun Valley.
At Union Bank, people don't have your money. Your money has people. First home people, investment people, people who answer the phone and your chats, dream car people, dream retirement people, driving your dream car in your dream retirement people, small business people, credit card people, and all the other people you need. At Union Bank, our people help you do more than you dreamed possible. So stop in and say hello. We can't wait to see you. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All righty, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show. Before I bring our special guest, all right, Mr. Nick Henrich on, before I bring him on, this segment of the Adam Carriker Show is sponsored by our good friends at Mulberry Barbecue at 11th and Cornhusker, open Monday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Try their burnt end sandwich, a brisket burrito, barbecue nachos, a full slab of ribs, a half-smoked chicken, and much more. Plus, ladies and gentlemen, incredible sides. Get fueled for lunch today or make dinner plans at Mulberry Barbecue by Single Barrel, located at 11th and Cornhusker. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the man I'm about to bring on was a 2018 Gatorade Nebraska Player of the Year, standout linebacker, one of the semifinalists for the High School Buckus Award, a man who played on Nebraska's team, actually, Matt Rule's first season, just retired from football not that long ago, a team captain in 2022, a multi-time black shirt academic all Big Ten, Mr. Nick Henrich. How you doing, my friend?
What's up, boss? How you doing? Good to hear from you.
Dude, I'm glorious. I appreciate you having me on. So, as I tend to do sometimes in interviews, I'm going to go backwards before I go forwards because I'm curious. Matt Rule becomes the head coach here at the University of Nebraska. You're going into, you didn't know it was going to be your last year, but ended up being your last year. But he's got that first team meeting. He's talking to the team. I wonder what that was like. Like, what was his message to the team? How was it received by the team going into a new era under a new coach, under a tumultuous previous era and coach? What was it like at that moment in time as Matt Rule was starting to kick off his era at Nebraska?
Yeah, I mean, it was super interesting. I remember the first team meeting he had. It was actually pretty brief and short because he just got hired, just flew in, and it was like 5 minutes, and then he had to go on do a crap ton of press, like when you get hired. But I remember it was super simple that he's like, you're my team. Like, we're not going to run anyone out. I want to get to know each and every one of you guys. And then he talked about how he was going to meet with all of us. So I think from a player's perspective, that was really great to hear because you always worry and hear these nightmare stories about guys getting ran out when a new coach brings in and he's just going to bring his guys in. So I think it was a crazy time for all of us, but hearing that was always, good and provided a little bit of hope for the future.
Talk to me about, obviously you start to enter into winter conditioning because he was hired in December. Pardon me. Then you go into spring ball. As things are going along and things are unfolding in his first off season, what was kind of his message to the team through the off season? He's obviously trying to change the culture, build it the way he wants. What were some of the things he would say? And what was his message to the team as he's trying to kick off this new era and start building his culture over the course of that first off season?
Yeah, I mean, I think some of the major themes were just, discipline and accountability, as well as the importance of being a physical team and winning the trenches, and highlighting how that's kind of the backbone of his philosophy is teams that can run the ball and stop the run. So, yeah, I mean, practices were super physical. Guys got after it. It was crazy. There was a lot of yelling and a lot of chaos, but I mean, it was a nice change up, honestly. And I mean, from the strength and conditioning side, it was incredible. I worked a lot with, that side more in the spring because I was rehabbing from an ACL, but just to see how much bigger, stronger, faster, more flexible guys were getting was pretty cool. And we're like, okay, these guys are pretty freaking good. Like, we got a great staff here and we're lucky to have them. So yeah, I think in that spring, trust was built pretty quickly from the staff and strength staff. And yeah, I mean, it was a lot different, but it was really good.
So talk to me about Corey Campbell, the strength staff. I've seen, a little bit about the way he does things compared to the previous staff. What would you say were the biggest changes? It sounds like in your eyes there was some improvements. What were some of the things that you thought were the biggest changes and some of the biggest upgrades, so to speak?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was super regimented, super organized. Every minute was planned of what you needed to be doing, which, obviously you can only lift a certain amount of time or you can only run a certain amount of time. So seeing how every minute and every second of what we were doing was utilized to benefit us and to get us bigger, stronger, faster was super, super cool and super noticeable. And then just how everyone was on the same page and everyone was working towards the same goal. And there's always the accountability piece to where if you mess up once in the warm up, you're getting screamed at and you're going back and you're doing it again. So I think doing it right, and the flexibility piece was huge as well. I mean, obviously you played for a ton of years. You know how important that is as far as longevity for your career. But I think guys' bodies started feeling better, and we were able to train harder because of that flexibility and the recovery aspects that they added as well.
It's crazy because obviously people are going to prioritize lifting and running and speed and agility and conditioning and squats and all this stuff. The longer I went on, the more I learned flexibility is huge. Flexibility of the hips is a ginormous thing. You listen to NFL scouts, they'll talk about like linebackers and DBs having the ability to flip their hips in coverage, or a defensive lineman having the ability to bend and get low and get around the corner, which is in large part dependent upon the hips and hip mobility. So I don't know if there's any young athlete out there who wants to get better and you're like, man, there's so many things to stretch. There's only so much time in a day. Get a great hip mobility program. It will make an immense, immediate difference. All right, man. So I'm looking at last year's schedule. Obviously, we know what happened, 5-7 and all that, but I'm just kind of curious. I got to ask about one game in particular, and I'm not trying to be negative or positive. I've never seen anything like this. The Michigan game doesn't go great, but he doesn't bring you guys in to watch film the next day. Or maybe you did watch film, but he brings you guys in and you practice and you scrimmage on a Sunday after you just played a full game. What was the vibe in the locker room like that? Because I can put myself in a situation like that and I can imagine it, but dude, what was it like when he's like, nah, we're going to scrimmage? Did everyone just look around like, is this dude crazy or what?
Yeah, I mean, you can ask me anything now that I'm retired. Shoot, I don't care anymore.
I love it.
No, it was, yeah, so the Michigan game was obviously horrible, and I don't think there was a soul on our team that felt like we did really good, or anyone in particular did good. So we come in Sunday like we normally do, and everyone's pissed off and coaches are pissed off, but it was a little more, I guess, quiet than normal, which made us all kind of nervous. So we go through our normal lift and go through our normal meetings and recovery and stuff. And we get to the team meeting and he shows it was like 5 or 6 clips, just, randomly, guys messing up, guys missing tackles, whatever, not doing their job, not knowing what to do. And he's like, y'all didn't want to play yesterday. We're going to play today. And it was just like, everyone started looking around like, what is he talking about? And then he was like, you guys have 15 minutes to get your pads on. And he just walked out. And I've never been a part of just an atmosphere where it was so quiet. And we're just like, what is going on? So we get down there and it's like, okay, well, I guess it's either, you know what I mean? We're doing this or we're not on the team anymore. So yeah, it was a surreal experience, and man, that was crazy. It ended up being, you kind of play football and it got pretty chippy, and he was like, the whole point, like, you guys can play like this against each other, but why don't you play like this against other teams? And from there is, guys walking off. It's like, well, obviously we don't have it all figured out, but it was a really crazy experience. And then we had a short week that week, I think.
That's right.
I think we had a short week too.
Yep.
Yeah. So we're like, all right, time to get recovered and roll. So it was a very weird experience.
That's right. I forgot about it. I'm looking at the schedule. You guys played at Illinois on a Friday. Obviously it worked. You guys won 20-7.
No, that's what we were all saying after. Rule got up in the locker room and was like, don't ever make me do that again to you guys, but you see what I'm getting at. And we're all like, man, so it went from kind of the lowest of lows in Michigan, your body's beat up, short week, to feeling that, as you felt so many times, that feeling in the locker room when you're winning, celebrating with your teammates, and you're like, okay, like, we see where this guy is coming from, and he just wants the best for us. So yeah, it was a really, really wild, 7 days there.
So I kind of bring that up because the Indiana game, in a way, is kind of similar to the Michigan game. And then the Ohio State game, obviously we did not win, but there was a certain amount of, respect, I think, in a way that was earned, at least by the defense for sure. And we found a field goal kicker, a lot of positives, obviously didn't win the game. But to me, in a way, all right, it's kind of similar to Michigan, Illinois a year ago. Talk to me about, do you feel like the Ohio State game, albeit a loss, lots of positives you can take away from this particular loss, do you feel like it could potentially be a turning point in Matt Rule's tenure here and maybe the season for the Huskers?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think, gosh, it's brutal watching as a fan, right? I think it's just so different, but you see those guys out there, and I mean, it really hurt watching Indiana because I know the character of those guys, and I know how much time they put in and how much work they put in, and then to see that result was obviously really disheartening and frustrating. And then going into this week, I mean, man, I know everyone thought how much they fought and how bad they wanted it and how competitive it was. Again, there's no moral victories, but I mean, they took an Ohio State team to the ropes, and despite the refs, and I don't even want to get into that, whatever, but
I already went on a rant, don't worry.
I know. But yeah, I mean, it was super encouraging, and I think the improvement's so clear and it's so there that it's flipping at any moment. And I know we've been saying that for a while, but I mean, I think everyone can also appreciate that, okay, we have 5 wins, and we took an Ohio State team to the ropes, and we can continue to build off of this now. And I think this very well could be a turning point in the history of Nebraska football. Really, it's been this crazy bad run for so long. I think that was a game where people are going to look back and say, no, this team's legit. Like, these guys there's some good ball players on there, and this is a well-coached, really good team that no one's going to want to see on their schedule.
All right, man, last question I got for you. So obviously a season ago, you guys, 4 games left, you just needed 1 score or 1 win. Obviously it didn't happen, but this year we're kind of in a similar situation. We've got 4 games left, just need 1 more win. Knowing what Rule said to the team last year as the season was unfolding, what do you think his message is to the team now going into the final month of the season?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be similar to what his message has probably been. Obviously, I haven't been in the locker room all year, but he's such a process guy, and he's such a living in the present guy. And I think that's the only way to go about it is, hey, we can't worry about what game we have in 2 weeks or what we have in 2 days. You have to worry about what you're doing right now. And I'm sure that's really resonating with the guys, and certainly a big challenge after such a heartbreaking loss with Ohio State. But yeah, I think the message is, hey, that's done now. What are we going to do about it? You're going to show up to work. You're going to show up to this meeting, and you're going to be locked in. You're going to practice hard and continue to build off that. But you can't keep holding on to these past and these what ifs, that come up so often in life and in sport. So yeah, I think it'd be a message of just staying present and continuing to, own your process.
All right, man, I appreciate you taking the time to join me. Good luck with your future endeavors and in your retirement as well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. Not the AP poll, the AC poll, right after these messages.
Mulberry Barbecue by Single Barrel is the answer to all your lunch and dinner cravings. They have everything from smoked turkey sandwiches to brisket burritos to burnt-in sandwiches and pulled pork. Try a dinner plate option of barbecue nachos, a half-smoked chicken, a full slab of ribs, and so much more. Don't forget their great sides like mac and cheese, cheesy potatoes, barbecue beans, or red slaw. Mulberry Barbecue by Single Barrel, open Monday to Saturday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. at 11th and Cornhusker Highway.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Hi, this is State Senator Carolyn Bosson. Education is a cornerstone for strong, vibrant communities. I voted for the largest investment in education in Nebraska history. As a state senator, wife, and mom, I believe Nebraska is a great place to work and raise a family. My husband Reggie and I are local family business owners and understand the valuable role of education in growing our community. This is Carolyn Bosson, and I will continue to support education in the legislature. Vote Carolyn Bosson on November 5th. Paid for by Bosson for Legislature.
It's the fall sports season, and that means that the school year is back in session and you're planning road trips for Nebraska football games and following your kids around to their different events. Stop telling yourself you'll upgrade your car someday and do it now. Mullen Motors Lot is full of great vehicles to take home so you don't have to worry about your current car struggling through another season. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Lake and find your next ride. As your fall schedule gets busy, you'll need a reliable way to get to your destinations. Mullen Motors.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
It's game on at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Nebraska's premier Kawasaki dealership. Score big on Kawasaki's most dependable side-by-side, the Mule Pro, built to take on your most demanding days. Rule the streets on an Indian motorcycle with customer cash and trade-in credits up to $2,000 during the month of October. On or off-road, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln has you covered with large selection of motorcycles and side-by-sides in stock at their new 27th and I-80 location. Stop by every Saturday for their Husker tailgate with free food, drinks, and games.
Gary Michaels Clothier's 41st anniversary sale is happening now. Our entire new fall inventory of suits, sport coats, sweaters, slacks, outerwear, footwear, all now marked up to 41% off. Don't miss your opportunity to save big on brands like Marcello, Bugatti, Jack Victor, Heritage Gold, Alberto, and Zanella. It's the Gary Michaels 41st anniversary sale going on now through November 2nd. Gary Michaels Clothier's 56th and Pine Lake, right here in Lincoln.
With the Planet Fitness Black Card, you don't just get a great workout, you get a great perk out because your membership is packed with perks. For $1 down and $24.99 a month, you'll get perks like access to any of our 2,400 clean and spacious locations. Bring your friend anytime and both work out with tons of equipment that'll give you that big fitness energy. Relax in the Black Card spa and more. Work out and perk out with the PF Black Card. Join for just $1 down and $24.99 a month.
Hurry, this deal ends soon.
See Home Club for details.
When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith, innovation has a name. Call Wellman Plumbing at 402-434-2400 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-434-2400.
Are you worried about storm damage causing issues with your basement? F Foundation Repair fixes basements with supreme waterproofing and exact concrete leveling for residential or commercial clients. They service wet basements, leaky walls, damp crawl spaces, bowing or cracked bricks or drywall, and more. Whether you're in Southeast Nebraska, the Tri-Cities area, or Northeast Kansas, they'll easily make the trip to you. Get a free evaluation today by visiting WeFixBasements.com or call 402-804-1024. F Foundation Repair. We fix basements.
The temperature and leaves are falling daily, so that means it's time for a new pair of shoes for the fall season from Brown Shoe Fit. Now, through October 31st, take $15 off any regular priced fall shoe and boots. Brands like Keen, Obos, Echo, Taos, and Atrex, all $15 off. Some exclusions may apply. See store for details. This is the sale that you've all been waiting for. So get down to Brown Shoe Fit on 66th and Q.
Hello.
Angela, we have to break up.
But why?
Because you're a robot and I'm just a guy trying to get better internet.
It's Aloe Fiber, isn't it? I always knew you wanted faster speeds. My contract isn't good enough for you.
Face it, Angela, they let me talk to real people.
Press 4 to break my heart. Oh wait, you already did.
Visit aloefiber.com to switch today.
General Fire and Safety has been keeping Lincoln businesses and commercial structures safe for more than 50 years. From a simple fire extinguisher to full fire suppression systems, Lincoln has trusted General Fire and Safety to provide top-of-the-line products, installation, and maintenance. If you're starting a new business in a brand new building, call on General Fire and Safety to help you plan a fire safety system that fits the specific needs of your business, employees, and customers. Call General Fire and Safety today at 402-261-0116.
This October, the Bonsall Spooktacular 10 event is back with spooktacular savings all month long. Stop by anytime in October to discover incredible deals, including hot tubs as low as $5,995. That's up to 20% off MSRP. Plus, enjoy 10% off infrared and traditional saunas. Don't miss out on these hauntingly good offers. Visit Bonsall Pool and Spa today. Bonsall Pool and Spa, every day made better at at 33rd and Pioneers.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show. It is time. Daisy Pohl took a bye week last week. Daisy Pohl is back today, but before we get to that, Jake, you got any questions from the text line?
Yeah, you can hit us up 402-464-5685. Sartor Heyman Jewelers text line. Somebody's looking forward to the AC poll. As they say, who do you have ranked that is not ranked in the AP poll?
Oh, man, I got a couple of teams. I don't have a whole lot of respect for the Mighty Pac-2, so that might give you a hint. My apologies to the folks from Pullman. But let's dive into it real quick. Here's how I rank teams, and then we'll light this candle. It's a combination of what you've done, what your record is, your strength of schedule, and also what I believe you would do, all right, versus similarly ranked teams on a neutral field in the future. So what you've done, all right, what your record is, who you played, and what I believe you could potentially do in the future as well. All right, let's start at the top. And I've got the AP poll pulled up here as well, so we can do some comparisons. My top 4 are not different. Oregon 1, Georgia 2. I actually bumped Penn State ahead of Ohio State. You know, that pesky team from the Midwest where they grow a lot of corn, have a lot of awesome football fans. Just kind of exposed Penn State a little bit. I'm a little bit concerned about some of their things on offense. They didn't look great. Pass defense was exposed a little bit versus Oregon. I don't know that Penn State's going to win, but I got to take into account what you've done. So Penn State undefeated, goes to Madison, wins by 2 touchdowns with a backup quarterback in the second half. Ohio State struggles at home versus Nebraska. Penn State 3, Ohio State 4. Little flip-flop there. The AP poll is Miami 5, Texas 6. I don't understand Texas. I don't understand Texas in general, but I don't understand Texas going on the road, playing a ranked team and getting a win. And then they get bumped down for that when they played Vanderbilt. I know it's Vanderbilt, but they're ranked. By the way, I still have Vanderbilt ranked. So I actually have Texas 5th, Miami 6th. Miami could have lost like 5 games already this year. Okay. The refs saved them against Virginia Tech, and then they were down by 92,000 points versus Cal and somehow came back and won. It's actually a pretty impressive game, to be honest with you, but I just don't buy into Miami. They don't play defense. Cam Ward is awesome on offense, but you got to play more better, because that's proper English, more better defense. All right, Tennessee at 6. I'll be honest with you, after the top 5, it was kind of hard for me to rank teams. There's teams with a lot of flaws this year, which makes college football a lot of fun. I have Tennessee at 6. Pardon me. I got Texas A&M, who just keeps slowly climbing in my rankings at 7. There's an inordinate amount of SEC teams here, but 3 of the top 4 teams are Big Ten teams, by the way. All right, Texas A&M number 8. I've been higher on BYU than most people all year. I've got them 9. The AP poll now has them 9. You didn't get to see my poll last week because we ran out of time, but I actually had BYU 9 a week ago. They have now leapfrogged up to 9 in the AP poll as well. At 10th, let's see what I've got here. At 10, I've got a mistake. I have a team written down here twice. Well, that's okay. At 10, I don't know who I have because I have BYU written at number 9 and 10.
You really like BYU.
I don't like them that much, but that's okay. All right. I'll have to figure that out. But at 11, I have Indiana, just outside of the top 10. What do you think of that, Jake?
Yeah, I mean, they still kind of a weaker schedule, but undefeated. Haven't trailed yet. That's incredible.
They've just looked so good. But to me, you know, when I would go skiing in Colorado, people would ask me, what do you think's the best? Like, I've skied double blacks and et cetera, et cetera. I've about died multiple times, but I'm still here. And like, to me, the true sign of being a good skier wasn't how fast you could go on a blue or a green. It was how well you could handle moguls. That was, to me, the best sign of a good skier. There's various ways to measure this. It depends on what you're trying to do. Are you a downhill skier or a mogul skier? To me, the hardest thing was moguls. Okay. To me, looking really good against inferior opponents, like going really fast down a green or a blue, to me, even if you've got a little chink in your armor, if you can handle the moguls better, if you've played a stronger strength of schedule, to me, that's a little bit more impressive. Indiana looks like a top 10 team. I've got to see them do it against stiffer competition. Hey, they didn't have a whole lot of problem with Washington. Washington's been very up and down this year. Obviously, they looked all right against us. But Indiana, got them at 11. I couldn't put them in the top 10. I got to see them do it against a little stiffer competition, but I do think they're really good. I have them in front of Iowa State, who has beaten Iowa, which is a halfway decent win this year. Just FYI. So I do think highly of Indiana. Just need more concrete evidence. I got Iowa State at 12. Clemson, I'm sorry. A lot of people are way higher on Clemson than I am. They've beaten one team this year with a winning record. That was Virginia. By the way, all right, if you're interested in Virginia, they just got boat raced 41-14 to a North Carolina team that's barely above 500. So Clemson looks really good. I mean, their most recent scores of their games, 40, 42, 40, 41, 45. Like, holy cow, they're scoring points all over the yard. 34-3, and I know Georgia might be the best team in the country, and I know that was a long time ago. But again, Clemson, who have you done it against? That's going to impress me the most. I've got Alabama at 14, my highest-ranked two-loss team, the most inconsistent team in America, but the most talented team that's rated this low, and it ain't even close. I've got Boise at 15 in front of Notre Dame. That might surprise people. That Northern Illinois loss sticks with me. At home, they got outrushed, outgained, and flat-out beat by Northern Illinois, they're just barely above 500, and they're in the MAC with all due respect. Okay. They did get a ranked win. They smashed Navy this past weekend, 41-14, so maybe I should pay more attention to Notre Dame. All right, if we had a 16-team playoff, they'd be the 16th seed, and they'd be playing Oregon. That'd be fun. Number 17, SMU. I'm pretty high on SMU. Pitt got my attention. All right, a couple of weeks ago, they're undefeated, 7-0 at 18. Kansas State, I had to dock them a little bit. They struggled versus a Kansas team that's been struggling this year, barely escaped with a win. I know it's an in-state rivalry game, but I moved them down. I had them, I believe, 16 a week ago. Now they're down to 19. LSU, this is a team that really lost to South Carolina. They should have 3 losses, but they've looked good at times, much better on defense than a year ago. Garrett Nussmeier needs some help in the run game. My good Lord, they could not run at all versus A&M on Saturday. To me, they're improved on defense, but not great. Their run game is non-existent. Garrett Nussmeier is a talented quarterback who will get an NFL shot, but he's too inconsistent to trust him. I have LSU. They're 6-2 and number 20. Army, undefeated, number 21. Their buddies Navy did not help them. All right, Army's going to get their own shot. I believe Army plays Notre Dame, don't they, Jake?
I believe so.
So they're going to get their own shot at Notre Dame, but they're always going to be connected in people's minds, and Navy's lost to Notre Dame 41-14 did not help them. Colorado, I have them at 22. And they deserve to be there. Send me hate mail to Jake. What's your email?
No, thank you.
No, thank you. Okay. At number 23, I've got Ole Miss, probably the most talented team that's not in the top 14, which I believe I had Alabama at 14. They're the most talented team since Alabama at 14 in these rankings. All right. Then I've got 24. Who do I have? I have Illinois. And this was tough because they looked bad against the number 1 team in the country on the road. And then they've also lost to the number 3 team in the country, Penn State, on the road. So I've got them ranked at 24th. Now, the teams I do not have in are Washington State, 7-1. Don't have them in. You know why? Sorry, Pac-2. Not a lot of love for you. Here's who they've beaten this year. Portland State, San Jose State, Hawaii. San Diego State's not half bad. Only beat them by 6. Okay, it's not been like their best win is Washington, who is not Washington this year. That's a big win in the state of Washington, but I just don't have a whole lot of credit for Washington State just yet in the mighty Pac-2. I also do not have Missouri ranked. How in the world anybody can have Missouri ranked like the AP does right now is beyond me. They played 2 ranked teams this year, lost those 2 games by a combined score of 75-10. You got to be kidding me. All right, we'll close with this. I have Vanderbilt at 23. And I'll just let that sink in because I'm going to look at Vanderbilt's record. I already know it. But I'm going to bring it up again anyways. 5-3. They're barely over 500, Jake. And I have them in the top 25. That's what happens when you take Texas, who was number 1 down to the wire, still top 5. That's what happens when you beat a number 1 Alabama team. Okay. To me. And was it A&M? Oh, it was Missouri that they lost by 3 points on the road to. So to me, Vanderbilt was a ranked team that played a top 5 team and lost by a field goal. You were ranked 25th in the country. You played the number 5 team in the country to within 3 points. I don't understand why you should be punished for that. You lost. You covered the spread. I don't think you should be punished for that. Just my humble thoughts. Any counter thoughts, Jake?
No, I like that. It's just, they did lose to Missouri, so head-to-head, you still have Missouri out in Vandy in. But I understand it because of the better competition they've had.
So here's that was something I wanted to bring up. I don't have Missouri 26. I have Missouri outside the top 30. So if I had them next to Vanderbilt, they'd get the nod. They've got the win over them, but I've got them outside the top 30. So to me, there's 5 teams between them. Until next time, go Big Red. And always remember to throw the ball.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket as soon as the clock hits 0 for the Jay Foreman postgame show. Listen to expert analysis from the Husker Hall of Famer, an 8-year NFL veteran for 90 minutes after the game. The Jay Foreman postgame show, sponsored by Anderson Ford, Tanner's Bar and Grill, Tavern 180, Elway Power Sports.